Rachel here. Welcome to my Slow TV Stitchery. Well, good morning everybody. I managed to get myself a little bit adrift here, but we shall sort ourselves out soon. Now, I have spotted, I don't know how I managed to go so badly adrift, but I have spotted that I've managed to get a straight line on this cloud, so I need to add some stitching here to shade, so we'll see how that goes. Now, you might be wondering about this little bit. That's going to be one of the places that there will be needle lace overlaying. And the original reason for leaving it unstitched was so that when I was attaching the needle lace, I would be able to find where I needed to attach it and remember where it needed to go. I may choose to add some stitching behind it before I put it in place, just to even out some of the height of stitching, but we'll see. The needle lace is on wire, so I can raise it a little and make sure that it does what I need it to do. This is looking a little uneven, as though my sky is bending round a corner, which is disconcerting to say the least. But I think a little bit of firm blocking will sort that out. I'm not worrying myself unduly about the shade of cream I'm using at any point in my clouds, because I want a sense of variation. I don't want it to look too much the same. So very hard to be sure which one I was using as well, which means that matching it would be tricky anyway. This is what's called making a virtue out of a necessity. Very easy to end up adrift doing this sort of thing. So I think I am hoping for creating something that looks vaguely sky-like. And allows the priory to dominate. And I'm finding myself really hoping that the ghost of my grandmama's wartime embroidery teacher, Miss Hunter, is not hovering at my shoulder, because if she saw the back of this, she would be horrified, and I would probably have to stitch it all again. Although at the moment I think I'd be inclined to argue that taking it out would do the fabric so much damage that not only would I have to stitch it again, I would have to start again with a new piece of fabric, which is not something I want to do. I found a business card of Miss Hunter's in among Grandmama's things, which seems very enterprising of Miss Hunter. Offhand, I couldn't lay my hands on it now, but it's something which I intend to ensure ends up in a suitable place. The sort of thing that social historians would be fascinated by. I rather wish we'd got Grandmama to write down her memories of Miss Hunter, in fact, because that also would be full of interest. I need to work out the best trick for not ending up with a straight line. It's very easy to end up in this position, and I need to work out why so that I can stop myself from doing it. I have a book on my pile of books that I haven't quite got around to yet, about the Picts, or in particular about a battle between the Picts and the ancient Northumbrians. And I'm interested, and I would like to know more about that period. But starting from a battle is not really a good place for me to start. There's only so much excitement I can get from people on a wet hillside running into each other with edged weapons, or indeed any other sort of weapon. So if anybody has any suggestions for a good starting place for learning about the Picts, do let me know, and then I can start there instead, which would be a much happier thought. Stop that there. Now, I have of course been thinking about Placidus and the Golden Fleece and various other potential projects for on and off throughout the time when I've been thinking about Amarna and working on Amarna. It's only just occurred to me, for instance, that in the original tale of Placidus, he is hunting with his friends. So I probably need to find out what time of year an ancient Roman would be hunting stags. The question would be slightly different to modern times, because of course they would hunt for food to a degree that we don't. But I feel as though it should be autumn somehow. So there's suddenly something that I need to think about. I had a momentary wobble about the Golden Fleece a little while ago, and thought, I don't know, that the thinking at the moment, I think, is that Colchis is some part of modern day Georgia, and indeed Medea has been a popular name there, because instead of the sorceress and villainess of the Greek myth, she's a local girl who was led astray by a foreigner and unhappily married. So they've got a much more sympathetic view of her than the Greeks. Anyway, I was thinking, I don't know anything about the flora and fauna of Georgia, and there was me thinking to hang the fleece in an oak tree because of the Druids and their oak groves. And I had a sudden pang and thought, oh dear me, there may not be oak trees in Georgia. Well, there may or may not be oak trees in Georgia, but when I started rereading Tim Severin's Jason Voyage, which is based around an attempt to see how much of the legend is even feasible, pretty much the first page mentions the source for the story, and he says quite explicitly that the fleece is hung up in an oak grove. So at that point I decided that if I wanted to have an oak grove, I could have an oak grove. It may not be scientifically accurate, but it's accurate to the source of the literary source, and for the purposes of artistic interpretation I think that'll do just as well. That's all for this session. I hope you enjoyed following along. Happy stitching!